Madre, grazie per avermi accolta e per avermi concesso di vivere.
Buongiorno, Modesta.
Buongiorno. Dove state andando a partire? Non mi vedete?
Sono chiamata a Catania. Affari di famiglia.
Dio.
È una soluzione troppo semplice per giustificare tutta la bellezza e il mistero delle...
What if the only way to survive a cruel world was to learn how to control it? Meet Modesta, a young woman whose life begins with poverty, trauma, and unimaginable loss. But instead of allowing her painful past to define her, Modesta develops an extraordinary ability to adapt, manipulate, and pursue the freedom she desperately wants. Based on Goliarda Sapienza's acclaimed novel, The Art of Joy follows Modesta through a life filled with desire, ambition, betrayal, and complicated relationships. But this isn't a simple love story. Modesta's journey is filled with forbidden attractions, shocking secrets, and choices that constantly make us question whether she is a victim of her circumstances or someone who is determined to take control of her own destiny. And this is where her story begins. Modesta's early life is anything but easy. Growing up in poverty, she experiences a childhood filled with hardship and trauma. From a very young age, she learns that the world isn't necessarily kind to people who are vulnerable. Eventually, Modesta is taken away from her difficult home life and brought to a convent where she meets Mother Leonora. At first, the convent seems like it could become a place of safety for Modesta. Mother Leonora takes on a maternal role in her life, providing guidance and attention to the young girl who has experienced so much suffering. For Modesta, however, this relationship gradually becomes much more complicated. What begins as admiration and dependence slowly develops into an intense emotional attachment. Modesta becomes increasingly fascinated by Mother Leonora, and her feelings eventually cross a boundary that the convent cannot accept. As Modesta grows closer to Mother Leonora, her emotions become increasingly difficult to control. The relationship that once felt almost maternal begins to take on an obsessive and romantic quality. Eventually, Modesta attempts to kiss Mother Leonora, and that single moment changes everything. Instead of responding with understanding, Mother Leonora reacts harshly. Modesta is punished for crossing the line, and the consequences make it clear that her feelings have no place within the strict world of the convent. For Modesta, this isn't simply about rejection. It is another lesson about power. She learns that affection can come with conditions, and that the people who claim to care for her can also control her fate. Eventually, Modesta is forced to leave the convent, but ironically, leaving this place doesn't mean escaping Leonora's influence, because Modesta's story with this family is only beginning. After Mother Leonora's death, Modesta finds herself connected to the wealthy Brandeforti family. This is a completely different world from the poverty and hardship she knew as a child. The Brandeforti household is surrounded by privilege, wealth, and social expectations, and Modesta quickly realizes that surviving in this new environment requires a completely different set of skills. She has to understand the people around her, their weaknesses, their desires, and the secrets they are desperately trying to hide. And naturally, Modesta becomes involved in another complicated relationship. This time, her attention turns toward Beatrice. Beatrice becomes an important figure in Modesta's life, and their relationship develops into something deeply emotional and intimate. But then comes one of the story's biggest revelations. Modesta discovers that Beatrice is actually Mother Leonora's daughter. Think about that for a moment. The woman Modesta has become romantically involved with is connected directly to the woman whose memory and influence have already shaped so much of her life. It's a revelation that makes Modesta's already complicated emotional world even more tangled. And yet, Modesta doesn't simply run away. That's one of the most fascinating things about her character. She isn't someone who easily accepts the role society expects her to play. Instead, she constantly searches for ways to protect herself, gain independence, and maintain control over her circumstances, even when her choices are morally questionable or emotionally dangerous. But Modesta's greatest challenge comes when she faces the possibility of being sent back to the convent. For someone who has already experienced the restrictions and punishments of that environment, returning is something she desperately wants to avoid. And this is where Modesta proves just how far she is willing to go for her freedom. Rather than simply accept her fate, she finds another solution. She enters into a marriage with Leonora's disabled brother. At first, the decision may seem completely shocking. Why would Modesta agree to such a marriage? But for her, this isn't necessarily about romance, it's about survival. By marrying him, Modesta finds a way to remain connected to the Brandeforti household and avoid returning to the convent. Once again, she manages to turn a seemingly impossible situation to her advantage. And this is what makes Modesta such an unpredictable character. Throughout her journey, Modesta constantly finds herself trapped between desire, social expectations, and the need for freedom. She experiences love, but love isn't always simple. She experiences rejection, but rejection doesn't necessarily defeat her. She experiences tragedy, but tragedy only seems to make her more determined. Every relationship introduces a new challenge. Every secret changes the way she sees the people around her, and every difficult situation forces Modesta to become more strategic. She is not the kind of protagonist who simply waits for someone to rescue her. Instead, she learns how to navigate a world designed to control women like her. And sometimes she does so through choices that are shocking, manipulative, or even disturbing. But perhaps that's exactly what makes her story so compelling. From her traumatic childhood to the convent, from her intense bond with Mother Leonora to her complicated relationship with Beatrice, Modesta's life is essentially one emotional roller coaster after another. Just when it seems like she has finally found stability, another secret or conflict threatens to destroy everything. And just when we think we understand Modesta, she makes another decision that completely surprises us. Is she searching for love? Is she searching for power? Or is she simply searching for the freedom to live her life according to her own rules? Perhaps the answer is all three, because Modesta isn't interested in living the life that other people have planned for her. She wants more. She wants to experience life fully, even if getting there means breaking rules, challenging traditions, and crossing boundaries that others consider untouchable. And that brings us to this point in Modesta's extraordinary journey.
Want more queer content? Then please subscribe and hit the notification bell.